I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings, but I need to tell you, someone's got to say it finally. Elgato sucks. They really do. Let me get this out of here. I got a bunch of Elgato products, and we're going to step through them, and I'm going to tell you why I don't like them, why I wouldn't buy them again. I used to be a huge fan of them, but over the years, I mean, there was a time when they were amazing, and no one else was doing what they do. But today, everybody and their brothers got, selling something like Elgato off their little street corners. And Elgato just kind of sat back and is still raking in the money. So let's talk about it. Now, I've got a channel. This is my secondary channel. I've got my primary channel is 250,000 subscribers. So I've been doing this professionally, full-time, since 2019. And the Camlink was one of the first things I was excited about. And I got the Camlink and I tried it. But I've given up on DSLRs and stuff. And I'll show you what I'm using now. So I'm no longer using this. But at the time, there was nobody who was doing anything close. Today, that's not the case. We got the Camlink 4K here, from EasyCap. This thing does an amazing job. You can't really tell the difference unless you look at them side by side. And even then, if you look at the images side by side, it's like, I like that one better. Maybe I like this better. There's just differences. They're not one better than the other. And you're looking at $30 less. But wait, there's also, I don't know if you can see this here, there is a 15% off coupon on top of that. So that's going to take another 7 plus $3.50, $10 off of that. So 7, you're at $60. That's a significant savings over the Elgato link there. And you're not really giving up anything. Now, if you're on a tight budget, we got this one. This is the Papaso. I don't know how they pronounce that. Anyway, $19 on that. In 4K, probably not so much. But for 1080p, it does a fine job. You probably won't even notice the difference. And let's be clear, over half your audience is watching on a cell phone. They're never going to see the difference. They're not watching on a big 4K TV. Maybe some of them are. My audience kind of is. I have an older audience. I'm an older guy. I know, old guys on YouTube. Weird, huh? Anyway, the fact of the matter is that you're not going to see the difference. So why pay for the difference unless you're doing it for your own ego? All right, now let's go on to the next thing, which is the Elgato Facecam. I started off with a webcam that was like a business class webcam 8 years ago. And I used it for years because there was never any good, better webcams. It was whatchamacallit, I can't remember the name of the company. Anyway, it was a $110 webcam made for video conferencing. And it served me just fine until the wire gave out, the wires inside split. And I looked at Elgato's Facecam Pro here, and I'm looking at $300. And then looked at some side-by-sides. This is a great camera. Don't get me wrong. Great camera, but I can get as good images and have PTZ on top of it. This is 4K Instalink 360. That's what you're looking at right now. It's not a DSLR. It's not a mirrorless camera. That's the thing. A good, solid, like 4K webcam like this. And I'm not even shooting in 4K. I'm shooting in 1080p, but with a good light. A lot of people can't tell the difference between a high-end mirrorless and a $300 webcam. And with this, it's got all sorts of functionality. If I'm doing a hands-on desktop review and I need the camera to pan down, I press a button, it pans down, it pans up. I can have it pan around the room. I can have it do all sorts of things. I'm not locked into one specific look. And it's so small, it can get positioned about anywhere. This is a fantastic camera, $300. It's not inexpensive, but for the price of what you're going to pay for, I've actually been pricing it out to get a mirrorless camera that's going to compete in quality. You're looking at $2,000 with a lens. It's just ridiculous. Now let's go and talk about that light. The light is one of the things that kind of got me to do this. I've had this light for years, and when it came out, nobody was doing what Elgato was doing at the time. It was a great light. The times are changing. Everyone's doing it. And now this thing won't connect to a network and hasn't connected to a network in over a year. Elgato keeps giving me the runaround when they respond to me. I was on the phone trying to get on the phone with them just yesterday. I sat on the phone for an hour. I made sure it was middle of the day. They were open, everything. They should have been there. And it's like, who do you want to talk to? Get me to customer service. Do you want to wait? Do you want to live? I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And after an hour, it said, "I'm sorry, we're closed," and hung up on me. In the middle of the day. Elgato, and if you do, just do a Google search. Tons of people will tell you Elgato's customer service is terrible. Just terrible. And I'm sorry, but we got to be honest about it. We can't give them a pass because they're making cool products. They do make cool products, but everyone's making cool products now. And for $109, here's what I'm using currently. I have the GVM SD80D. That's a dual color light, so I can change the temperature and everything on it. It's all controlled through this app here on the phone. I can turn on, I can turn off, I can change the temperature. Let me see here. I can come down here. I can go warm. I can go cool. I usually keep it right around 6,000. I can change the brightness and all that kind of stuff. And I can turn it on and off. In fact, let me leave it off for a minute because my second light, and granted, this one at $180, that's with the coupon there, is not inexpensive, but you get a nice tripod, floor mount, that kind of stuff. This is what I switched to after the Elgato let me down. And that is the Dasny D50 lighting system. And it comes with a little remote like this. And with that, I can turn everything on. I can change the brightness. I can, again, change the temperature. I don't have to go to my cell phone. I got tactile little buttons. It makes it easy to do all this. I don't have to think about it. And if I want to turn off, I can turn off again. It's not quite in the same area because I have the other big light with a softbox right there, but you can get an idea about the lighting. Fantastic light panel. It can even take batteries if you need it. It comes with a nice case. You get two of them for $220, which if you break that down, that is, you've got for $110 each, which is the same price as the Elgato. You've got a larger panel. You're not looking at the little air. You're looking at a full-size panel. You got barn doors. You got a tripod. You got a remote. And on top of it, now you've got a key light, and then you can do a secondary offset light or a backlight with it, all sorts of stuff. Remember, painting with light, it's a big thing. If you want that look, if you're like, hey, I'm a streamer, I want people to see my desktop setup, I can't have these big kind of panel lights like you do. I need that look of the Elgato. How about this? Was it Alonzi? I always have trouble pronouncing that one. They make great products. They really do. And this is basically, if you look at it, boy, no one can tell the difference between that at a glance, whether you've got the Elgato or the Alonzi. And for $54, there's a $4 off coupon. For $50, I don't know why you would go with this rather and instead of going with the Elgato. This is just, it's going to give you the same look, probably the same kind of light. It's got good reviews and such. This seems to be a great option, although I think honestly the GVM is a fantastic light. Now next up, let's talk about green screens. Yes, you can tell I'm in front of a green screen. I do not have this one. When this came out, it was I think it was this much or more. I got this one off Amazon for $100. It's currently $200 on Amazon. I've looked around. I did some shopping. We got to give the win to Elgato in this one. Elgato, it's $150. $5 shipping on top of that. Even Amazon's prices can't come close to this. So Elgato wins the green screen department. All right, let's talk about microphones. I tried the Elgato Wave 3. Everyone raved about all the YouTubers. This is great. This is great. This is great. At the time, I was using the Snowball Ice. In fact, I still have, this is my original microphone that I bought to do YouTube stuff with. And I'll tell you what, the sound on it is not bad. Even today, the sound on it isn't bad. But it does look weird on screen talking into the Death Star here, So a lot of people don't like using it. I then switched to the Razer Siren Mini. It's another USB microphone. It's small. It looks professional. It looks great on the table. Looks great on an arm. Honestly, it's still my travel microphone for when I travel. I do setups on the road with my laptop. That's still the microphone I take with me because it's small enough to fit in a bag, and it sounds great. It's the same price as the Snowball. And it doesn't look weird on screen. Next, I tried the Logitech, the Yeti. Does Logitech own Blue? I guess they bought Blue. Anyway, the Blue Yeti USB microphone. I tried this. Somebody was selling it locally used. Oh my gosh, the sensitivity on this thing was ridiculous. I couldn't hear myself over my keyboard clicks. I just gave up on it. I gave it to one of my kids and moved on. The next one I tried, the next one I tried was the Wave. And again, it was like overly complicated. It's got a bunch of software to fine tune this, fine tune that. I just found it frustrating and not getting really great sound on it. A lot of people, I used it for a couple months and people were complaining how bad the sound was. And I tried futzing with it. Anyway, I ended up dropping some money and I got the Rode Pod mic. I liked the look of it. It looked good on camera. It was $100. It was less expensive than the Shure one that everyone's using. And the sound is fantastic. It's a great microphone. And I did use it for a good long time, but then I eventually settled on this microphone, the Samsung Q9U, because I needed one that I could use for XLR or for USB, depending on how I move things around. And that's what this one is here. And I absolutely love it. They make another one that's XLR only. It's $100. But this is just a fantastic microphone. It's got great sound. It'll keep up with any of the big boys. Now, do you need this? No, you don't need that. But if you're going to use the XLR like I'm using, you will need some equipment to go along with it. Again, if you're looking to go with USB, PodMic just came out with, the Rode PodMic came out with a USB version, but it's double the price because they had to build in all that tech into it. So that's a little bit rough. Now, that being said, there's the Samsung without the USB built into it for $130. But as I said, you're going to need, if you go XLR, you're going to need an XLR adapter. Now, Elgato's version is the Wave XLR. It's got this nice big volume button. It's got a headphone jack. It's got everything you need. Nice little display and everything. And it's $160. Well, the one that I know a lot of pros who use this, and that's the Focusrite Scarlet. If you just have one microphone set up, you can get the Solo there for $90. It's got all the gain controls. It's a solid. I'm using a Scarlet right now. In fact, I'm using the older version of this. This is the second gen, honestly. Or it's the first gen. I can't remember if it's the second or the first gen. I think it might be the first gen. Anyway, it's the Scarlet 2i2. And at least the new one, which is $200, gives you two inputs, and they move the inputs to the back, which I love that. It gives it a more streamlined look rather than having your XLR cables coming out of the front. But I can't tell you how many pros use this. It's a fabulous adapter. They go up to 4. They have like rack mount ones as well. They do a lot with sound. My next purchase is going to go a little bit more, and we're looking at getting the Rodecaster Pro 2 because we're setting up a podcast studio over across from me. So we're going to be having 4 mics over there. So we got to go with something a little bit more ambitious. And last but not least, we got to talk about the Stream Deck. I got a Stream Deck right here. I've had it for years. And as far as like alternatives, I think the best alternative is a bigger Stream Deck. Sorry, there are alternatives out there. You can get it for they do a Stream Deck thing for your phone. You can turn your tablet into one. You can get a separate keyboard, like a numeric keypad, and you can program the buttons and stuff. There's a couple other products out there as well. And at the end of the day, none of them are as good as the Stream Deck. It is what it is. And it's another win for Elgato. I hate to say it, but it's true. So at the end of the day, is Elgato a terrible company? Yes, because they have horrible customer service. I'm sorry, I can't apologize for a company that won't do decent customer service. Understand, when you're buying from Elgato, you're rolling the dice, hoping that what you get works. My Stream Deck, for years, still works. The light, not so much. So anyway, there you go. Let me know what you think. Am I completely off my rocker, or is there a better alternative out there for Stream Deck? Let me know what you think down below. Till then, you all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.